This has been an amazing year for Global Surge, and God gets all of the glory. You have a big part in it, and I have to say thank you, because every one of our wins is your win, and you have really allowed us to see God move and enable us to do things that we would have never been able to do if it wasn't for you and your faithfulness and your partnership through prayer and through giving. So first, let me say thank you so much. Let me tell you about one of my friends, and a great story of one of my friends, Pastor Dan Lim. See, Pastor Dan was first reached and heard the gospel for the very first time as a young child through our feeding center. And our feeding center in Floodway, many of you who have come on a trip and served with us have actually served with us at our Floodway feeding center. So Dan was a child, heard the gospel, was reached out, his family was reached through this feeding center in Floodway. He was able to hear the gospel many times, and as a teenager became a follower of Jesus Christ. He immediately was discipled. In fact, Pastor Julius, the lead pastor of our Floodway Church, was discipling him on a regular, consistent basis all through his teen years. He then got involved in music ministry, in drama, and several other areas as well. And God continued to use Dan in an influential way. And the story gets better. Dan is now planting a church. And so Dan is planting a brand new church. It's incubating right now, and it should launch in 2025. And we have so much to look forward to. So to see someone come from the lost world at one of our feeding centers, hear the gospel, and grow and mature, disciple, baptize, be part of a community group, serve in their ministry, and then now being able to go and plant a church is just the whole essence of what we're doing and the purpose behind every decision we make at Global Surge. Not only to share the gospel, but to make disciples, to grow them into believers, and to eventually have them being part of a church plant, or in this case, the church planting pastor. So pray for Dan and his wife Roxanne and their team as they plant this brand new church that should be launching in 2025. We're so excited about that. God continues to do some incredible and amazing things here in the Philippines, Cambodia, Thailand, and all throughout the world where we have been planting churches. We've had some other great wins as well, and God continues to show himself powerful. Our discipleship has grown, our community groups has grown, and these are one-on-one people who are meeting together, life on life, seeing God impact their life and their daily decisions, how they choose a mate, how they continue to choose financial decisions and make financial decisions, how they choose to serve in their ministry, and how God is going to end up using them in a powerful way all over. In addition to that, another step that we bring the community, it's actually the glue that brings what happens at church and what happens at the home together, is our community groups. Community groups that are serving their community all throughout the world and all throughout the city. And God is using that in a powerful way to really draw people to him and to use it in a powerful way as well. We've seen God grow in other areas as well. One of our greatest ministries that we love to serve and love to expand is our Global Missionary Clearinghouse. And these are non-Western missionaries, most of them coming from the Philippines, serving in other nations all over the world. In fact, we've had couples just leave this last fall to serve in other Asian nations as well, and God is using that in a very unique and powerful way. In addition, just a few weeks ago, we held our annual Missions Fest. This is one of my most favorite events of the year. We bring in all of our Global Surge worship centers, we come together, we dress up, we put on the attire of the country that they are representing. And this year, as we heard the vision to reach the Indian Ocean Initiative, which are the nations that we're trying to reach that ring the Indian Ocean, we had 20 new people sign up and commit their lives to becoming missionaries. Can you imagine? 20 new people that are going to be joining our Indian Ocean Initiative and going to be joining the missionary service and going to be joining the missionary army that will be changing the world for Christ. You have a big part of that. We continue to see God do some incredible things as well. Global Life University is also an important part of our whole ministry pipeline. We endearingly and lovingly call it GLU. And GLU not only serves as an educational platform and a Bible college and an institute and other training as well, is we've been able to grow from just a bachelor's degree to now a master's, and in the near future, a PhD program as well. Additionally, we're moving into new countries. What's really exciting is we're actually moving into potentially 2 or 3 different new countries in Africa. Global Life University continues to expand. Actually, it's growing faster than we originally anticipated, and this year we've achieved over 3,000 students. This includes our face-to-face, our hybrid, and our online student body, and we continue to see people joining in, signing up, and enrolling in Global Life University. And the life changes and the stories that we hear of people who are able to earn their degree or their secondary degree or move into a master's level is really unique and very, very powerful. So those of you that have been part and served with our Global Life University at any of your campuses, be prepared. We got more happening in the very near future. Our camp ministry continues to reach people that, quite honestly, are really hard to reach. Usually, our target audience for our camp are teenagers and college-age students who really would never don the doors of a church. And so this is a unique opportunity for us to share the gospel in a format that takes people out of their normal comfort zone and allows them to hear the gospel in a new and unique way. We serve in a lot of different countries and multiple different continents. Asia, several different countries that we serve here in Asia. Africa, multiple countries in Africa. And now North America. Actually, we just got back from a camp in Queens, New York, and had 78 people saved of the 180 who attended our camp in Queens, New York. It was incredible, and God continues to show his power in unique ways. Baptism is such a critical element in multiple different nations. In Buddhist nations, in Catholic nations, in Muslim nations, and in those that are really walked away in the post-religious nations as well. One of the greatest reasons baptism is so important. Baptism is such an important part in identifying with Christ. It says to this individual, I'm walking away from my old life and I'm now renewed. I now find my identity in Christ, and it's a unique way. In our Buddhist countries, we actually see many of these Buddhist students who come and they have Buddhist bracelets, these red ribbons that they tie around their hands, tie around their wrists that identify them as a Buddhist. And as they go into the baptism pool, they ask for a pair of scissors and they cut them off and they hand them to our camp team. It's an incredible sight to see a basket of red bracelets, of the chains being released, the handcuffs being cut off of Buddhism and giving people the freedom that is found in Christ Jesus alone. And there are so many different ways that we see that as well. Amulets, different ways that they dress. People change their lifestyle completely as they walk away from their old life and walk into this newness of Christ. And we are honored to be part of that process as well. The real purpose behind everything that we do at Global Surge is not only the gospel, but also to go and make disciples. We believe that we have the capacity, not only us, but you and those that we serve with have the capacity to actually accomplish the Great Commission. It's not just this far off lofty thing that we may someday achieve. We're doing everything we can to do it in our generation. The story of Dan is a great example of that. A child from our feeding center who heard the gospel, became a believer, was baptized, discipled by one of our pastors, and now is a church planting pastor, is evidence of the process and the importance and the value that we take of every single life and every single person. But we deeply believe this: every number has a name, and we have those names. Every name has a story, and we have so many of these stories, and every story and life is important to God. And we continue to do everything we can to walk people through their spiritual life, to grow them in Christ, to allow them to become a flourishing and powerful and influential believer for Christ, because we believe they are going to continue to change the nation. I cannot wait to tell you what God is going to do and what God continues to do in 2025. Thank you for going along this journey with us.